It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Divas That Care. My name is Candice Gish. If this is your very first time tuning into the Divas That Care, a huge welcome. The Divas That Care is now in its 12th season. We are listened to in over 30 countries around the world, and honestly, it's because of all of our amazing listeners, our hosts, our guests, that it's made it really possible to do this. So we're always so excited about every show we have. And please don't forget to go and check out some of our other hosts because they've got some pretty amazing shows going on right now, and you don't want to miss them. All right. I am so excited today, guys. Today we're going to be introducing a brand new diva to our family. Her name is Christina Flack, and I am very excited to get to know her. I had the opportunity to go through her website, and I'm blown away with everything that she's doing. So we're going to have a fun show. So welcome to the show, Christina.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for having me today.
Well, I am so grateful that you took the time to chat with us today.
Well, I'm grateful that you are interested in chatting with me, so...
Well, Christina, before we kind of get started into some questions that I have for you, would you mind introducing yourself to all of our listeners today?
I'm happy to do that. My name is Christina Flack. I am a celebrity makeup artist and the creator and CEO of Pretty Girl Makeup. I am also a mother of 5, and I am a philanthropist. And let's see, what else do I do? I guess that's probably about it.
Well,
I'm also, one more thing. I have one more thing I do. I am the beauty expert on NBC on California Life. So that is one more job I have. Yes.
Well, I'm excited because one of the things when I was kind of going through your bio and I went to your website, I wanted to know, how did you even get into an industry like this?
That is such a good question. How did I? I started working on my friends and family. My mom had, when I was growing up, had stage 4 brain cancer and had lost her hair and her skin was discolored, and she was going out on a date with my dad, and I wanted to make her look and feel better. So with her few makeup products and my few skills, I managed to make her look like her old self. And more importantly, she felt like her old self. And that is one of the things that I love so much about my job, is making people feel like the best versions of themselves from the inside out. It is not all about the makeup. Yes, it's not. I mean, it is about the makeup, but then it's also about, I have 3 agents that represent me. And one of the big things being a makeup artist, you're kind of like a hairdresser. People tell you everything. They get in your chair. So you have to figure out in a very short time if someone wants quiet, if they want to talk, if they, what they need to feel ready to get in front of the camera. So that is one of the skills. It's a gift that I have, thank goodness, that I can kind of read people pretty quickly.
Oh, my goodness, that's wonderful. And how long have you been doing this?
I have been a makeup artist for over 20 years, a very long time. It's been such a fun journey. I started doing, weddings and proms, and then it went on to work doing photo shoots, and then I got a portfolio together, and I managed to get my agents, and that really was a turner. It was like a huge thing once I got that, because I started working on celebrities and being in different TV shows and working with different fashion houses, and so that's really been such a thrill. Next week, I have a big week. I'm doing Chris Harrison from The Bachelor. And then I'm going to fly to Arizona and work with Ronan Farrow on a TV show. So
oh my goodness,
it's always a different,
what a journey.
I'm always going somewhere. Tyler Florence is a celebrity chef, and he is my pretty steady client for over 16 years. I am his groomer, and we finished a show this spring for the Food Network called The Great Food Truck Race. So that's going to be coming up. We're going to do season 16. I think we're starting in February in Los Angeles. We finished a campaign with Williams-Sonoma that just launched in the beginning of December. I did Rita Moreno this year for People Magazine, which was a huge thrill.
Wow.
So yeah, I've had a really
it's pretty
amazing
adventurous
career.
and an exciting lifestyle.
It is. It's you never know where you're going to be, and it can change in a second. Yesterday, I got hired for that shoot in Arizona, and I can get a call in an hour from my agent saying I have to be somewhere this afternoon or tomorrow. So it's,
oh wow.
I'm kind of a gypsy. I think I like the excitement of that. And my life is, my kids are older now, so I'm able to travel a lot more. I obviously wasn't able to do that when they were young. So they're all pretty much grown up. Oh, definitely. I was a mother first and then a makeup artist and the owner of a makeup company. My kids are the most important thing to me, and making sure that they were happy and, everything they needed, with school when they were young. But now they're on their journeys of life. And so I'm able to kind of be a lot freer with my career, which has been great.
And you must have to love to travel to do something like that, because as you were saying that, you can be called and then you have to be gone within a couple hours, or you're traveling around the country. Do you do a lot of stuff outside of the United States, or is it mostly just there?
It's mostly just here in the States. I have gone down to Mexico. I shot a campaign for Boys and Arrows. It's a swimsuit brand. I did that for like 3 days once. That was really fun. But mostly it's around the United States, which is a lot of fun. And I do love to travel. And I like,
good.
And it's interesting because I still, even a lot of people travel and they complain that, I can't work out, I can't eat, I can't stay on my diet. But I am pretty disciplined with my exercise and my diet. So I'm able to, wherever I am, I still work out every day. I still have my green juice. I still get to bed at the same time. So I think that's what's helped me to be able to travel a lot, is that I stay on a pretty, healthy schedule. Because if not, it would be really hard. I think I would get sick. I'd get tired. It would be really hard. So I think that's helped.
Well, and that's a good tip for a lot of people, because they think that when they start traveling, they can kind of get away with a lot more things, right? But in reality, if this is your job, you do have to keep on a schedule in order to maintain your health and wellness at the same time, because you're not necessarily going to be at home in your own bed and eating your own food. You're going to be out and about in hotels and, eating other types of foods.
Definitely. And I think also it's funny when people say that it's too hard. I'm like, why? I don't have to do anything when I'm traveling except, if I'm taking care of Tyler when I'm on set, taking care of him, and then exercising and running my business, and exercising because I'm not having to do any errands or keep my home clean or do anything. So there's really so when someone complains about that, I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. I'm it's a lot easier now with companies like Press Juicery that I can go there and get 6 green juices and just keep them in my hotel room. And, I can, and I bring food on set because I can't be eating, all the junk that's on the set, because that's just, I get tired. And
that would be hard.
It's really, when you eat junk, well, at least when I do, and I'm not saying I don't not have, cake and cookies and stuff. I do treat myself, but I am pretty disciplined. Especially now that I'm going on NBC as a beauty expert, no one's going to be believing me if I can't take care of myself. So I kind of have to keep myself looking as good as I can look, to inspire people to want to listen to me when I'm giving them tips on, hair and makeup and skincare.
Which makes a lot of sense. That's exactly how honestly, that's how it needs to be. And I love you have 2 different sites that I've been to. Your personal one that talks a lot about your, who you've worked with, and it's got some fantastic photos. I'm like blown away on how amazing they look. And then you have your other site, which I was just so great. You have this company that you had started, you had mentioned earlier, Pretty Girls Makeup. And I want to talk about that because I think it's so inspiring. You had talked about your mom, and why did you decide to start this makeup company?
I didn't ever think in my life when I was young, like, I'm going to own a makeup company. I'm going to be a makeup artist. It never even occurred. I didn't even know that was a job. So, and then with the makeup company, I was a mom driving around with all these kids in a constant battle of putting on lip gloss and drinking water. And I couldn't find a lip gloss that didn't, if it was long lasting, it was drying. And if it was really hydrating, it wiped off so fast. So I thought, oh, I'll just create my own, which, thank goodness I didn't know how much time, effort, and money it was going to all cost. Because, when you know that, you're like, Tyler always said, if people knew how hard it was to be exceptional, no one would do a damn thing. And it's quite true. But when I talk about, being an entrepreneur and advice that I give people and my own children, figure out what you love doing so much that you don't mind getting paid. Because when you start a business, you're putting money into the business. Advice. And so if you love what you're doing, you will succeed because you're loving it and you're putting all your time and effort. If you don't love it and every morning get up excited and inspired to be working on it, you're going to fail. And especially if you're going into the business to just make money. I don't think that's you're going to start resenting your job because it is 24/7. And I know I say 24/7, but I do I think that when you own a business, you have to have balance in your life. It's super important.
Oh, true.
Being a business owner, it's kind of like, when you're a professional athlete and they have, let's just say, 7 years of that career. Well, if you're a CEO or a high level, anyone in the work industry, you could be working 30, 40 years. So you can't work 24/7. But, the hours that you work, use them to, the best you can, but then also take time to exercise, have healthy, happy relationships, eat well, rest. It's so important to have balance in your life because I think you are you can give more. I know that I can do more raising money for my charities and doing all that I do because I have woken up early and eaten well and gotten rest and exercise. That's the best thing that I have learned in all my years on this planet.
In a lot of ways, it's common sense, but sometimes we forget that and we kind of get lost in the shuffle of life and maybe the negativity around us. And I want to ask you, because you're doing so well and you sound amazing, how are you able to keep the negative out? Because I think that's been the struggle for a lot of people. We've had different people on our programs, and there's a lot of that noise, and they can't seem to stop that. Or how are you able to just kind of keep it away from your life?
I love that question. Well, I think happiness is a choice. I think, look, I get negative thoughts. I get depressed just like everybody else. But when I get feeling in that dark place, I know how to self-soothe. So I ask myself, am I hungry? Am I tired? Have I had water? Have I exercised? What am I grateful for? What am I excited about? So I try to think of all those things and make sure. Sometimes I just have to walk out of my office and go on a hike or just go read my book. I will take a little bit of time to get myself back centered. And no one wants to be around anyone negative. And I really believe that the successes that I have had in my life are because I am positive. And my energy is good, and I'm not difficult to work with, and I'm very grateful that I wake up with a very good disposition every day. I'm happy, and I
love that.
And I think that's why I have done well in life. So I think it's also a habit. If you are thinking constant negative thoughts, they just keep coming. So I get in the habit of, I think positive thoughts, and I think of what I want to have happen, not what I want not to have happened. Worrying is a waste of time, and in my mind, is something that you focus on the negative. That's what the universe thinks you want, and so that's what's going to happen, a bunch of negativity. So I just really try to focus on what I want to have happen.
That is absolutely perfect. I love it when people talk like that. It always brings a smile to my face because that's how I really, and I try to do that myself. Some days it's difficult, but if you put the intention out there, you really try your hardest and you treat people with respect and just everything, right? In the positive way, I think it always comes back to you. And I love that. So
I agree.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm just sharing that with our listeners because they need to hear that more, right? Because I do think that some people get stuck.
I'm saying it to myself, too.
Yeah, I have to say that, too. I have to look. I have all these little stickies around my house, and people would laugh. It's like, okay, I got to go to the bathroom, and there's stickies on my wall or in my bedroom. And, and that's just a way to remind myself. It's like, okay, make sure you just have a smile on your face. Just have a good day. Those
Even
positive
have a smile
affirmations.
when you answer the phone,
Yes.
like when you answer the phone, people can hear it in your voice if you're in a good mood or smiling. And I think there's so much to be thankful for. There are so many people, like when I've gone through challenges in my life, I have, made sure that I am doing I call it do-goodery. I have my son, Bo, passed away. It'll be 16 years this Christmas morning, actually. And my husband, Ken Flack, passed away. He was a professional tennis player. And I started, part of my way of dealing with these tragedies that have happened in my life, I started 2 educational funds at the Northern Lights School in Oakland, California, private school for underprivileged children. And then I started a garden at the Edna McGuire School called the Bo Friedman Outdoor Classroom with my friend Lisa Zimmer, who was the principal at the time. And I just feel that has been my way of dealing. I think you can grieve in a positive way. You don't have to be the grieving widow in black and hating the world and not, loving in life. My kids mean everything to me. And if they see that I am a disaster in my professional and my personal life, if I'm miserable and not happy, it affects them. And that's what they're going to have in their life because that's what they think is normal. So the best thing that I can do is try to be positive and set a good example for them because that's what I want for them to have happen.
I can see you being an amazing role model. That is just brilliant. And thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Oh, of course. I try to be, but I'm sure my children, if we're listening or if they were here, they'd be like, oh, my God, she's so annoying. She calls and texts all the time.
Mine do that, too.
I know. It's so funny. Because, you guys, my mommy switched. Just because you graduate from college and you're working doesn't mean my switch goes off. You're still my baby. And
yep.
I sent my son Nikolai a note yesterday. Get your tires changed.
It's never ending. No.
It is never ending.
Yeah, my kids laugh at me and they tell me stuff like that all the time. Like, oh.
I know.
So I just shake my head. I'm like, really?
I know. It's so funny.
It's one of those hats that we put on and we don't take off.
Yes, proudly.
Yes. So you've got lots going on. I want to ask you how our listeners can go and check out, like just if they want to be a part, if they want to donate or anything like that, how can our listeners be a part of, some of the things that you're doing in your journey?
Oh, that's so nice. Well, the Northern Lights School in Oakland, California, if you go to their website, there is a page to donate, and you can donate to the Baby Bo Fund and the Ken Flack Educational Fund. And then the Edna McGuire School, you can donate money there as well. Nutrition and education are super important to me. And my son, Ben, Bo's twin, raised $60,000 this past October for our educational funds at the school. And he's been doing that for the last 7 years, I think now. And it's well over $150,000. And these kids are able to go, it's $15,000 a year for each kid to go to school. So some kids are able to go to a private school for a year because of my son. And I'm so proud of him. And I just feel that because that he's been doing this since a young age, I have video of him in front of all these golfers at this golf tournament where he raises money, and how I love hearing him get up in front of people and saying, I'm so proud to be here and I love to help others. And just to hear that, I didn't tell him to say that. It just comes from his heart. And I think all my kids have participated in some way at the school. And I think they will do that the rest of their lives. No, I'm not.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you. But
I've always been a big believer in volunteering and, getting involved in the community and getting involved in as many things as you can. And I always love to hear other people that do the same thing, because it tugs at my heartstrings so much because unfortunately in today's world, we don't hear a lot of the positive, great, inspiring stories like yours that are out there making a real big difference in the world. We hear so many negative things, and I just wish that everything would change so that we would hear more of this, because it just brings a smile to your face. It lifts up your heart. It takes away your worries, and you know that the world is great when you hear stories like this.
There are so many people in the world doing amazing things, and
I know.
I think I think it's part of like doing these podcasts. I do think it's important that people share their story. I know we don't think, I don't think my story is that amazing. I think I really do try to be the best version of myself and do goodery in the world. But I do think it's also important that I share and try to inspire others to do what makes them excited to do. And it doesn't have to be what I do. It could be in their, they have to figure, you have to figure out what it is that you want to put your focus on. And it doesn't even need to be that much. It's kind of like even with exercise every day. Don't put this pressure on like, oh, I have to work out an hour a day. No, do 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's consistency. And I think it kind of trinkles down into, my charity work that it's not something I do every day, but I try and do what I can do as often as I can. And if you take that pressure off of yourself, of whatever it is, it was interesting. I was having a conversation with one of my best friends, Diana Stobro, who is an amazing woman. You should interview her as well. I was complaining about I didn't get enough done. I was just basically beating the crap out of myself. And she said, you would never treat another human the way you treat yourself. Like, why are you bashing yourself? And I thought, wow, you're right. I need to be kinder to me. And so that's kind of a new thing I've been really trying to do, be focused and grateful for what I did get done today, not what I didn't get done. So that's a new little habit I'm working on.
Good for you. See, we're always learning more every day, aren't we? It's not something that just stops. And
definitely.
I think that's the misconception. People are like, oh, well, you've done everything or you've done all this stuff. You must be done learning. I'm like, no, I try to learn something new every day.
Gosh,
I think it's so important.
Never. I don't think we're never done learning. When you're done learning, I guess you need to die because that to me is just like you're on your way to, how awful is that? When you don't want to learn anymore. I agree. There's so much to learn and so exciting and fun to learn a new trick.
Exactly.
I never want to lose that.
I had talked to somebody years ago and they had said, try to be 1% better each and every day. And, either through your learning.
That.
It's a powerful thing. So that's my strive. I'm like, I'm not going to do 10%. I'm just going to do 1%.
That is really great. But that's also just being, again, kinder to yourself.
Yeah.
We are so harsh on ourselves, and it's really sad, It's important. So
and I find
there's a lot of great things in the world.
Oh, there is. But I think as women, we seem to be a lot harder on ourselves. We always want to, I don't know if it's wanting to be perfect, but it's always wanting to, be better all the time. And if we make mistakes, we're really hard on ourselves. And your friend is completely right. It is. We are so hard on ourselves that we would never talk to somebody that we talk to ourselves. And I shake my head. Sometimes I have to realize, like, oh, my goodness, what did I just say? That is not true. I can't say that.
I know.
But
I know. Because words are very powerful. I actually work with a energy healer in Canada. She's in Calgary named Diane, and she's amazing. And she always tells me, be very mindful of the words you put out into the world because the universe will do whatever you say. So if you are constantly bashing yourself or complaining and all this negativity, that is what is going to be happening. So if you're, if you say something like that, take it back and say something positive and get in that habit.
I love that. That's great advice, and which I'm going to ask you now. Is there any last-minute tips or tools? And I just want to throw this at you, Christina. I really want you to come back on the program. I know this went by really quickly.
Oh, wow.
I keep on thinking,
sure.
There's so many more things that I'd love to chat with you about.
Anytime. You just let me know when, and we'll schedule it.
Excellent. That would be wonderful. So do you
I
have
especially love this because it's not on Zoom, and I don't have to have my hair and makeup done. So I really especially love this. I'm sitting in my office. Yes, I'm in my my workout clothes, and I'm not camera ready, and it's so nice. I didn't have to hire myself today.
I love that. That's kind of the funny thing because I think that too. And one of the biggest reasons, I'll just throw this at you, I love to do these programs not on Zoom because when I talk, I've realized over the years that I talk with my hands and I'm constantly moving around and people don't laugh
You're
at me because
excited.
on a Zoom, I'm trying not to move.
I think it's lovely. You're passionate.
So awesome.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's so funny. I get a kick out of it. But yes, do you have any last minute, maybe tips, words of inspiration for our listeners that perhaps would want to go into the industry or anything else to be out there as an entrepreneur?
I would figure out, you don't have to quit your day job or your corporate job. Obviously, you have to pay your mortgage and eat. So I would start doing something after work and on the weekends, and then hopefully one day it will, turn into something that you can do full time. And really think, to me, failing is not trying. And it's so important. I don't think of, there's always going to be mishaps and, problems on your journey in life or in your professional career, but don't think of them as failures. They're just learning lessons. So if you can take the word failure out of your vocabulary and just know things are going to go wrong, but maybe it's actually happening for you instead of to you. So that was another one thing I learned this year was sometimes we think these things are happening to us, but they're actually a blessing in disguise and we don't know it. So just go, enjoy the process.
Fantastic advice. Thank you very much. Thank you, Christina, for coming on the program today. I had so much fun with you today.
Oh, me too. I can't wait for our next chat. So fun.
I'm looking forward to that. So we'll definitely have you back on. And I just want to let our listeners know that I will be posting all of Christina's social media, all her websites, and so that they can go check you out. Because, Christina, you've got some amazing things out there, and I definitely want our tribe to go and check it out.
Well, thank you for having me, and I'm honored to be part of your tribe.
Yay! Welcome to the Divas.
I love it. That's so cool. Have a happy holiday, and I will look forward to speaking with you very, very soon.
We will definitely do that. Thank you so much. And a big thank you to all of our amazing listeners. I'm always so grateful to each and every one of you that comes out and you check out our programs, that you're supportive of not only our amazing guests that come on, but also the amazing hosts on the Divas That Care Network. Thank you so much. It means a lot to them. Those women are just the most amazing people, and I hope that you're able to connect with each one of them. So thank you again, Christina. Thank you to all of our listeners, and I hope that each and every one of you has a fantastic day, and please remember to do something kind today. Until next time, everyone.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.